if we want to just dive in, I would love to
let's
hear
go.
kind of like from this moment as we sit here at Welcome to Rockville, like
Yes.
what do you love about the music scene? Like what you've been in it for like, a while now, you've got real staying power in it. So clearly there's something that keeps drawing you back to like places like this and times like this. So what do you love about it?
You know what's funny is my first show ever was Blink-182, and it was way back in the day, 1997. And it was my first show ever. And just being in the crowd, moshing, crowd surfing, and seeing the camaraderie and people helping pick other people up, people just putting your arms around like total strangers and like, and singing. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, holy shit, like we all like this one thing and we've all been touched by this one thing. We don't know each other. We all come from different backgrounds, the whole spectrum of, race, creed, color, everyone. It didn't matter. Like we're all here just for this reason. And that night I was like, I want to do that. Like I cannot play an instrument, so I'm gonna have to learn how to sing, I guess, but I want to do that, and I want to make other people feel the way I felt that night. And so I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but I was literally just like, that's I want people to feel that way. Because I went and I couldn't sleep. I was up all night. I was just like, this is the coolest thing. Like I just witnessed the coolest thing I've ever seen, like been part of. Like, and the next day at school, I was like, I just had stars in my eyes the whole day, and I couldn't stop thinking about the concert. So, that moment was like what did it for me, and that's kind of what keeps bringing me back. Is a festival like this where there's just so many people, like you can't meet every single person, and but you can go on stage, you can share your music, and you try to leave an impact, leave them with some words of like encouragement or something that's like a bit uplifting. And even though our music, we have like the super heavy mosh parts and give me a wall of death, but like at the end of the day, I'm like, I would like to just like come off as human and let them know that they can do anything they want to do. And so that's kind of what keeps drawing me back. It's just that human connection, I guess.
No, that makes so much sense. And I feel like that's really relevant to the fact that like you just recently put out a live record, which really sort of captures like the environment that you try and create at shows. So I'd love to hear you share a little bit more about that. Like, you were the kid in the crowd and then you're the artist on the stage. Like, what are you trying to create at blessthefall shows specifically?
Just what I touched on was just like, I want to make sure that everyone in the crowd knows that they're all here for the same reason, no matter what they believe in, no matter what political stance they take, no matter what religious, whoever they pray to. We're all here to enjoy and experience live music and hear the lyrics that may have gotten you through a hard time, and hear them live and be human. There's no AI involved. We're here. We're actually here. And and it's raw and it's real, and there's mistakes that are made, and I think that's the beauty of live music, and I think that's what's gonna survive a lot of the digital holocaust that's coming with like just all, you don't know what's real anymore. You look at a photo and I literally go, I don't know, like I don't know if this is real. But you can go to a show and see people on stage physically. I can come off the stage, I can high five them, and they can feel, and see me and see us. And so I think that's going to be one of the things that people are going to really like grasp onto when we don't know what we're looking at on the internet anymore.
Oh, that is so real. Like, I mean, it's a wild time to be a human. Like, I feel like wildly different, probably even from when you started the band. It's like changed so much.
Totally,
so,
yeah.
I'd be really curious to hear, like, I know you also put out like an album of originals of like new material last year. Yeah. Is there a song that really stands out to you as this has like a message that we want to communicate about mental health in this unique moment of, again, digital holocaust, wild polarization, but the music, the human connection still matters? Like, what song for you comes to mind when you think about communicating that?
There's a song called Somebody Else, and it's about, not changing who you are and not trying to be somebody else. And that's kind of what the whole message is someone should love you for who you are. Your friends should love you for who you are, your partner, and you shouldn't have to change what you believe in, and the things that make you, just to fit into a mold or to fit in with somebody that you think you're in love with, or like you think that is your friend, and you're like, I want to be friends with this guy, so I have to change myself to like the things they like. It's like, no, just like be who you are, be comfortable in your own skin. And I know that's easier said than done, because we've all been through high school, we've all been through our awkward phases and on where you are trying to fit in, you want to fit in somewhere, and it's okay to be a punk rock. It's okay to be left to center and weird, and that makes you unique. So yeah, that song I think is probably the best one for that reference.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense to me, and I think that's such a particular theme for this alternative music culture that we've been talking about, that really embraces people who are maybe a little different and says you can be that way.
Yeah.
So for you personally, what has helped you continually embrace that along your own journey through alternative music? Like, what allows you to be authentic? What has helped you to hold to that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I know, just to throw a little softball at you.
No, that's very interesting. What's kept me sort of, I don't know. I think it's just, I'm a bit older now, so it's like I'm kind of I've made it past all the trying to be cool. I've been made fun of, through high school or whatever, and I don't know. I've always had kind of I don't care attitude to a certain point, where I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. I used to rollerblade in high school, and it was not when it was cool. I don't think it was ever cool, but there was specifically in the late 90s, skateboarders would beat you up if you had roller, and I'm like, I don't care. I'd have shitty pineapple bleached haircut, giant raver pants, and rollerblades, and I just was this is what I like, and I'm not trying to impress any of these people, and I don't know where that came from, and I started seeing my daughter do that now. She's just turned 12, and she's just so cool and finding her own personality and stuff, and I'm hoping I pass some of that down to her, of the dude, don't worry about what people think, like what you like, you don't have to what everyone likes, you don't have to. She's very against buying stuff on Amazon because it's fast fashion, and she's she's literally said that to me, and I'm she's likes to go to secondhand stores and put her outfits together, and she doesn't want to wear what everyone else wants to wear, and I'm that's so cool. I'm kind of seeing some of me and her as far as that goes, and I'm that's awesome. It's gonna help you just get through life if you just have that attitude of let it roll off your back, move on, be yourself. It's gonna be the most fulfilling life to live. So, and
I feel that is such a powerful thing that you've probably set that example for her, right? And then you
I may have, yeah,
generationally, right? Because I do feel there's something where it often takes a while of living life to get to that place.
Yeah.
But she's got a head start, probably. Just
I think so.
Up.
I hope so. Yeah. Mom's very cool like that too. So she gets it from both sides. We kind of she sees us living how we want to live our lives. Maybe it's a little alternative. Maybe it's not your, run of the mill, relationship, or, whatever, type of music that you like. But I think at the end, she'll see that we're very fulfilled in being who we are and living the way we want to live.
Yeah. If you were to talk to somebody who still is in a place of a lot of fear and sort of self-restraint, where they're I don't know if I can be who I am or be authentic, what does that look like? What would you say to somebody who's feeling really paralyzed in that way?
Yeah, I guess it's easier said than done to just say don't care, but honestly, those people shouldn't affect you. They shouldn't have a negative effect on you. Shouldn't let them dictate how you're gonna live. You know what I mean? So just let that roll off your back. Just try a little fuck it attitude. I don't know if I could, man, it would bleep me out, but honestly, that's all it is having that attitude, and not to the point where you don't care about someone, obviously, but just to who cares? Find what you like and go confidently in that direction, and other people will see you and follow you, because they're gonna be whoa, you will set the example for the other people who are going through the same thing. It's a chain reaction. So yeah, you can go again,
with your daughter,
yes.
You set that example, and it's all you need sometimes with authenticity is somebody to go first.
Yeah, totally. Be that person.
Yes.
Be the pioneer. Punk rock pioneers.
100%.
We need more of them. Yeah. Sweet.
So what for you, sort of looking towards the future, What still makes you excited to be in music, and what are you curious to sort of see happen with blessthefall? Like, again, you've kind of been everywhere, done everything, but like, what still like is exciting to you about being in this scene and about seeing how it's developing right now?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of proving to ourselves that we still have it. I think that was part of it, is that we're constantly like, I want to show that we can still do it. I want to go up on the stage like this and play to a lot of people that have never seen us play and prove to ourselves that we have what it takes to hang with all the rest of the bands that are, there's 100 bands on this festival, and to the fans that have stuck around with us. Like, that's huge to us. Like, we hear them, we see them, we did our anniversary tour for our album Hollow Bodies, and it was just like an insane success, and I was like, damn, this is so cool. Like, there's people out there who care this much still. And we've seen the fans that have been around since 2008, 2009, and we see them come into the show up front and center still, and we're like, that's kind of who we do it for. We do it for the fans, and we wrote this record for the fans. And yeah, I like to say we write most of our music for our fans. We have to enjoy it too, but
sure.
But we know what we have an idea of what the fans are wanting, and we're like, you know what, like, this is for them, and we hope they've given us a long, sustainable career up to this point, almost 20 years, and so we're just gonna keep rocking that, and yeah, we got some gas left in the tank still, so.
Yeah, kind of along those lines. Where else are you going to be this year? Like, what else is coming up in your universe for the rest of 2026, so we can point people towards?
Well, we just got back from Australia, Malaysia, Jakarta. That was a few days ago. Came here, and then we play Sonic Temple next weekend in Columbus. And then we have Aftershock Festival in, I believe, October. And then we're going to South America in August with Memphis Mayfire, and which is like a great lineup for metalcore fans. Like, 100%. We just did the same lineup in Australia, and it was like, it was just a perfect match of bands. Like, we're both from the same era, both just metalcore, unabashedly metalcore, and it was great. So South America has some of the craziest fans in the world. I'm sure you guys have heard the Come to Brazil comments. Those are all real people. These are not bots. They look like bots. They are real human beings, and they want you to come there. And it's always a blast down there. It makes you feel like a rock star. Like, they'll chase you out of the venue and want part of your clothes, and you're like, really, dude? Like, I'm 44. Like, come on, man. Like, how long are you gonna do this? They're so I don't know. They're just so thankful that you're there, and they're so stoked that you're there, and you don't really get that everywhere. And so it's gonna be really fun. So that's our August, and then we have a really special tour coming up that I can't say anything about in the fall.
Cool. Stay tuned.
It'll be cool. Stay tuned. Yeah.
No, man, I love that. Music, I feel like, is so unifying across the globe. So
yes.
It's really cool that you're experiencing that.
It's very cool. Yeah. We don't take it for granted.